Good morning, Stephanie. All right, let me slide this over now. How's everyone doing today? Hi, Pamela. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Karen. So I am going to take a minute just to say I'm not doing this on my normal thing. This is on an ironing board, so bear with me. I know it probably isn't the best, most optimum background, and I might have to change partially through because I have to move to my desk. So I'm going to try to make this as little of a debacle as possible. But I wanted to show you a couple things. I'll make sure everybody can see. I did put my light, but of course this light over here like swivels and does stuff the wrong way. Let's see if it'll stay. Let me tighten it real quick. And I am like, I have a light right above my head, but it's a ceiling fan light, so it's not like the brightest. Okay, everybody feel like you can see pretty well? I'm whistling. Come on, let's go. I can hear the birds outside. It is rather chilly today, considering yesterday was like 80. But it's rainy. Well, Marlene, I think we must be getting your weather. It's coming. Thanks for sharing, everybody. I appreciate that. So I want to tell you just quickly that there are a few things from the annual catalog that are sold out, just in case you missed it. The Best Bunny bundle, the Bunny Punch, pretty much I think anything that has lemon lime twist as a cardstock pack is sold out. So the lemon lime twist is sold out by itself. The in color is sold out, the packaging, but you could still get the 12 by 12. So if you really want it, you could do that. I think the Broadway Bound must have lemon lime twist in it because that DSP does. And the Share What You Love may or may not have lemon lime twist. I know Animal Expedition does as well. So there's limited things left that actually have the lemon lime twist paper in it. So just as a suggestion, I know that was a favorite color. Maybe you never know. If we really love it, it'll come back one day. Also, the 1/8 circle punch and the cutting pads and the trimmer blades and the scoring blades, you know those are sold out. They've been sold out. But I just want to tell you mostly about the lemon lime twist because that was a big deal. Also, when I want to tell you what we're doing today, so I do have wax paper. And I have a couple things that I tried differently. So what I did was I went ahead and I actually ran these pieces of glossy cardstock through an embossing folder. So I have the brick wall. I believe that's what this is called. This is retiring. And I also did maps, which is retiring. I've never done this before, so I'm hoping it turned out to be cool, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then I just have some regular pieces of glossy paper. And I have my very, very hot iron here. And I also have, here's one other thing that you need is like some sort of a tea towel. So something that you don't really care about because you need to cover it before you hit it with the iron, or else you're going to have a huge mess and your ironing is never going to be the same. I also, just as a note, I have really cheap wax paper. This is just from the dollar store, and it tends to work really well. The cheaper the paper for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it has a different wax content. I'm not really sure. And one other thing, I am not going to be able to go live Friday, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to go live again tomorrow. I'm going to try to shoot for the same time, so 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to show you just a sneak peek because I did these cards, and now I am really, I was already a little disappointed that the glossy cardstock was retiring, but now I am like super sad because I made these cool cards, but I figured I would show them to you. So these are made on glossy cardstock. So I'm going to share these with you. Here's another one. And these I actually use the new in colors. So there went my light again. Sorry. So this one is the terracotta tile. And this is really hard. I apologize because of these feet getting stuff into there. But terracotta tile. This one is the pretty peacock is the background color. And then I have one more because I love the desert, flowering desert. But I also love the flamingo just as much, which is retiring. So I did this one. So I will do these cards tomorrow. Very simple. I'm sure you could probably figure it out, but we'll do that. Oh, I ordered the adhesive sheets and I ordered the glossy cardstock as well. I have like 2 unopened packs. So, you know, you might want to get it soon. It doesn't say it's on the retire or the low inventory list. I did check that before I went live. There wasn't anything that was like major on the low inventory list that wasn't going to be coming back in stock. So, okay. You're not sure where your iron is, Karen. Come on. Okay. So thank you all for joining me, and thank you for all the love and everything. I appreciate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this. I'm going to see if I can turn this a little bit different because I'm going to lift it. Sorry about that. I'm going to lift it just a little higher. So I'm hoping that everything is in the frame that I want to be in the frame. Okay, so what you're going to do first, we'll do this just as a regular one. So this is really good for doing kind of backgrounds for cards. And then what you would do afterwards is you can either use your sponge brayer or you can use your rubber brayer if you want. Either one will work. Or you can even just use sponges. And what you'll do is then you're going to add ink to these. So again, this is a little bit of a lengthy process, so I do apologize if we don't actually finish a card today, but what I will do is we will incorporate that into tomorrow as well, okay? So maybe we'll have like an extra long live because these other cards are actually pretty simple. So if we don't finish any cards today, I will finish them tomorrow when we go live again. And also, in case anyone noticed, and I don't know if anyone did or didn't, but I cannot seem to get my Facebook videos to upload to YouTube. So for some reason, people go and watch them on YouTube. They're not on there yet. I'm going to have to refilm them. For some reason, Facebook is being weird. It won't let me download the videos. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our wax paper, and we're just going to kind of crumple it up. Now, you don't... Whoa, that was crazy. Sorry about that. You don't want it to be too crinkly, but kind of just, you can like open it, like crinkle it up a little bit, just like that. And then what you want to do is you're going to take the waxy side of the paper, which is the shinier one. You're going to put this, and I'm going to move this out of the way just for a second so I don't have a catastrophe, because I don't want to have to move out of the house because I ruined the iron or the ironing board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this tea towel down that I use for like cleaning up all my other projects, as you can see. I'm going to put this down, then I'm going to put my wax paper, put my glossy paper on top, glossy side up. Then I'm going to put the wax paper with the shinier side down. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, you don't have to even do it on the whole thing if you don't want to. And then I'm going to fold my towel back over it, just like that. And then you're going to put your iron on it. And this is kind of dependent. This is the part where you kind of have to keep going back and checking. And I do apologize, the camera is wobbly. It's because I'm touching the ironing board. So, good morning, Penny from sunny Florida. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep you can hold it in place because you want it, basically what it's doing is it's transferring from the wax paper onto the glossy cardstock. This is one of my favorite things to do, and we did this, oh my gosh, so many years ago at my friend Rhonda's house. I can't even remember how many years ago, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to just put this on the side and lift it up and see if it looks like it's transferred yet. It does look pretty stuck. Oh, okay, so this is cool. This one worked fast, so my iron is nice and hot. So it is a little difficult to see, but you can see kind of all those textures there. This almost could look like a giraffe paper, all right? So I'm going to put this one on the side because this is enough. I don't really know if you can reuse this because I'm going to say pretty confidently that you've ironed the wax off of it. But if you cut it in strips this way, you could probably reuse it a little bit. So I'm going to just try with this other one. I'll just put the side one I don't think got ironed. And do the same thing again. And just press it down. But this is a great technique to keep in the back of your mind. I know it's a long time away, but for Halloween, because you can do this and then use black ink, and it looks like really creepy. It's a super cool technique to use for that. It's sunny in Oregon. I'm a little jealous. We had sun yesterday, not today. So I have my iron on the highest setting, the highest heat setting, and I know if you guys can see that it says steam, but I don't have any water in it. So it's just the hottest setting, dry. Again, just be careful when you do this because you never know what might happen. All right, there's just a little, I'm going to move the camera just a teeny bit back so I get this other side here. So sorry about that. Let me just hit this side just quickly. And this is such a fun technique because you can do so much stuff with it. Some thick layers of cardboard. Cover it with aluminum foil. Oh, there you go. That's a good idea too. I didn't think about that. Thanks, Fran. Then I wouldn't have to drag out the ironing board and potentially ruin it. All right, so let's see what this one looks like. This one's pretty good. This one's a little bit different, though, if you can see, because there's not a whole lot on this piece right here, which is fine, and this edge is completely not done, but the middle is done. So we're going to put this one on the side as well. I use pretty much, I'm fairly confident I use that entire sheet. Now, I'm going to do this other one where I did the embossing folders. I'm going to do this 2 ways. So for one of them, I'm going to just get a sheet of wax paper. Let's see if I can do this without knocking anything over. Like everything is, you know, everything in here is always very precarious for me as it is. But to also add a hot iron to it is probably not the smartest idea I've ever had. So what I'm going to hope is that I'm going to just push this down. And I'm going to hope that it only picks up on these little top pieces. So we'll see. I don't know if it is or isn't going to work. So I'm going to put this down. And then the second one we'll do half crinkled and half flat. So same thing again, I'm just putting this on top. And let me move this one over so I don't accidentally iron on that. I don't know what that would look like. You also, if you could potentially scratch some of the surface off of that glossy cardstock like we talked about doing the other day. And then you could have one that kind of looked like different patterns. So we could do, that would be a cool thing to do with the brick wall folder. And I am really sad that the brick wall folder is retiring, but there's something really cool that's going to take his place. So I guess I can't be too mad about that. All right. And I'm sorry, I know this is super wobbly. All right. So surprisingly enough, this has transferred in a very odd way. I shouldn't say surprisingly. It should be typical for anything I'm doing. I'm just going to hit this just a little bit more. But I think it might look really, really cool. So what you could do is, if you were going to do this technique, you could get a whole bunch of stuff set out all at the same time, like all the ideas, and then just iron them all, and then you could make a whole bunch of different backgrounds with it. All right, let me take this off. And okay, so for this one, what it kind of did was, it has ironed it onto the, like these, I think these to me are constellations because it's maps. That's what I'm going with. It's constellations. But it also put little teeny pieces of wax down in the divots. So this might be really, really cool. So I'm going to put this one to dry, or to cool, I should say. And then the last one we'll do is the brick wall. So what I'm going to do with the brick wall is I'm going to do half of it with a flat piece, and then half of it I'm going to do with a crinkled piece, and we'll just see which one turns out better. So I'm going to do the flat piece first. So I'm going to just lay this. I'm going to actually go on this side. Lay this here. And I know this weather is so crazy in Maryland, but I am just so happy it is spring. Oh, after Easter, it's so nice to have it. I feel bad for you guys that are still getting these crazy winter snowstorms. Because once it gets warm even when it happens in February, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with winter. Let's move on to spring. And I know that is logistically not always possible, but hopefully everybody else is having some nice weather. You know, Sue, I don't know how it would work on glossy photo paper. I will tell you that I have done projects before on the glossy photo paper, and the photo paper does not have as thick of a backing. So if you're doing anything that requires wet, it doesn't seem to hold up as well. It warps a lot more. But theoretically, it should work just fine, because when I think we were out of it, I was doing photo paper that I got from the dollar store as well. And it was okay. It just wasn't like fantastic. All right, so let's see what this looks like it did. See if it did anything. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, so I didn't get it on the end there, but I have it so you can see there's a line. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a line straight across here where the wax took, except it didn't do it on this side. Let me just hit this one just a little bit more, and then I will do the crinkle part, and then we'll add some ink to it and see what it looks like. And actually, we're running kind of ahead of schedule, so we might be able to finish at least 1 or 2 cards. We'll see. Oh, no worries, Marty. We're always happy to have you, late or not. You can always watch the replay here on Facebook. That's the stinky thing about, though, YouTube, because I do like to put videos on YouTube as well, but when it's just making it really difficult to download, which I don't understand why, but okay. So we have half of that. done. And then what I'm going to do is for the other half, I'm going to crinkle this up. Just I kind of like crinkle and then open and then crinkle, open. And then I'm going to lay this one on the other side. So this is the side that doesn't have anything on it thus far. Let's see. And we'll do this one. And I thought this would be neat too, if you did a crinkly background, because the one that we did kind of looks like a giraffe. So you could use that with the Animal Expedition set. And then the other one looks almost like something you could do watery. You could also use the seaside embossing folder if you wanted to maybe do one for the mermaid. That would be neat. Let's see. Still needs a little bit more over here. I think that's the line right there. I'm just going to set this right here. Okay. Also, in case you missed it, today is the first day that you can order that Everything is Rosy bundle. Oh, this looks pretty neat. Okay, so I'm not going to press this any farther because I don't want to ruin it. And once we get over to the table, you may be able to see this better. But one side is really smooth on these, and then the other one has got like almost like a giraffe print to it. So what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of having it, I'm going to do one more because someone did ask me about this, and I don't know if you could or couldn't do this, but I'm going to try it. Someone asked me because they popped this video up on the YouTube feed, which is what kind of reminded me to do this whole glossy paper thing. So they said, could you do one that said that you could put a word in? So I'm trying to find which side is the shinier side. I think it's this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write something. Oh, I'm going to try to write it backwards. So we'll see how this turns out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it with just, is this one? Yeah, that'll get stuck. I'm trying to find something. Here we go. This one's a nice one. Something to write with. So I have the back of this paintbrush here, and this has a really smooth end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write backwards, hello. And I'm going to see if, ooh, I should probably have something hard to write on. I'm going to do this on my desk real quick. I'm going to write something and see if we can get it to kind of reverse transfer. All right, I don't know. That might look really crazy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this will work. So I kind of wrote hello to get rid of some of the wax. We'll see. And I'm going to iron this on and see if it works. Because someone asked me, could you do it with writing words? And I was like, maybe you could. I don't know. That's a good idea. So I just wrote something on there, which essentially what I hoped to do was, by writing on it on a paper, was to transfer the wax. That way it'll kind of be missing, maybe except for the hello part. But now that I think about it, I think I did it backwards. I'm so blonde. I think I should have written it the other way, and I didn't. So it's going to be like, if you can only see hello if you look at it in a mirror. You use colored crayons. That's a good idea, too. Yeah, and you know what? I did this once before at a party where we all kind of came up with our own idea. This is way before I was a demonstrator, before I had like a stamp club thing. Well, it didn't work well enough. You can like very faintly see the hello there, but we'll just make this into a card for the sake of it. So maybe you could do that with writing if you really took your time ahead of time and like laid out your project. I'm not sure. That might work. I'm going to turn off my iron here, so bear with me 1 second. And I'm going to move you guys over. Okay, let me unplug this. The last thing I need is like a hot iron melting a hole in the carpet. I will surely be elevated to blonde status if I did that. Okay, 1 sec. Let me just move a couple of these things out of the way. I'm going to keep this paper here so I can show you. Okay, so I'm going to, as eloquently as I can, move you over here. Bear with me. Sorry about that if I made anyone nauseated. Okay, let me back this up. Whoops. Okay. lost my phone where I was looking at the comments. All right, and what I'm going to do quickly, let me move this over here so you can see this over here. I'm going to take the phone. Ooh, should I even do that? I'm not going to move the phone. You know why? Because then it's going to make people nauseous, and that's just not nice. So I'm going to keep this right where it is. And we're just going to do our work here. It's a little bit weird with the lighting. Sorry about that, guys, but I don't know if it's from the moving or from the day or from whatever it is. So here are our pieces. So you can see, let me see if I can get these to light a little bit better. This has like a definitive line. Once we add the ink to it, you'll be able to see. But you have kind of more of like a solid image here, because this is the one where we just use the straight piece. And then this one more looks like the crunchy giraffe piece. This is just another one we crunched. Actually, two of them we crunched. This is one where I tried to write hello. We'll see if it turns out to be anything once I'm done. And then we have the maps piece. So we'll do the hello one first just to see what it looks like. Late to the party, no worries. Okay, a cable upgrade. Woo! I know. That sounds stressful. Okay, so I'm going to, for this one, just for the heck of it, let's see, we'll do this with the sponge brayer, and I'm going to do it just with Coastal Cabana. We'll see what this looks like. All right, I have entirely too many things here. And I keep hearing all these noises in the background, which is kind of freaking me out because I'm home by myself. But it's just the iron cooling down, so I'm trying to relax. All right, so I'm just going to roll this over. So what it should do is it should pick up the ink in the places where there is no wax paper, which is with this, and then I'm going to wipe it off. Kind of looks pretty cool. And you could do this even with like more than one color if you wanted to. All right, so there you now you can see the pattern of what the wax looks like. So let me just close this up for a second. And I have my very messy work cloth here, so I'm just gonna rub this off. And what this is doing is like picking up all the extra ink that's, whoops, not sticking to anything. So, hard to see in this light. I'll post a better picture just because it's like wacky looking light because I'm not in my normal spot, but it's pretty neat. Nice pattern. So there's one. And then the other thing you could do if you wanted to, if you really wanted the dark one, just since we're doing this for the heck of it, and I could always cut this down, you could even take your ink pad and just drag it if you wanted something darker. So you can see this one is definitely darker and this one is lighter. So there's that. And this one, I'm going to do this one in a soft suede. So maybe we could do one that's more giraffe-like in this one. And for this one, I'm just going to do direct ink. So I'm just going to take my pad and just swipe it across. Oops. Try not to get my fingers completely black. Yeah, so on Friday we're going to pick up mulch, which we haven't mulched like really thoroughly because we have these huge nut trees that hang over our pool, so we kind of like skipped out a little bit on the mulching. Isn't that cool? Look at that crinkle. That's just from the crinkle of the wax paper. So you could totally use this as like a giraffe background, like a tea stain. Really neat looking. Pretty cool. So there's that one. I'm going to skip the other one that we have, and I'm going to do the brick wall. And for this one, I almost want to use like a combination. I'm going to use a combination of Poppy Parade. And I'm going to do sponges on this one just to see what it looks like. Poppy Parade and I'm going to do a little Cajun Craze and then a little bit of espresso. And what I'm going to do is I'll do it on both sides kind of equally, and we'll see which one we like that looks better. This is like wax paper resist, Julie. So if you're like looking for ideas, I would look under wax paper resist. That's what I call it. And that's, I'm fairly certain what you would call it if you were looking for it somewhere. So let me see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm going to do the Poppy Parade first, and I'm going to do it on both sides. So we'll just kind of add some ink to both sides. All right, then I'll go with the Cajun Craze. Again, I'm sorry if this shakes more. It's just because of the way this stand is that I'm using. All right, and then last but not least, I'll do espresso. Kind of going more over the whole thing with the espresso, just to tone down some of that red in the poppy. All right, so let me close these up before I wipe this so I don't have a disaster. And the cards that I was playing with the other day when I did the alcohol one, the one I showed you guys in the beginning. Oh, this looks so cool because it's like wiping out the, it's giving like a really deep etch look. That's just with half of it wiped off. Really deep etched look to the mortar. And you can totally see now when you look at this, and you'll be able to see because you can completely see, look at the line. So this is the one where we crinkled. We crinkled the paper before we did it, and this is one where we just put the paper directly down because there's a lot more gaps of the wax. So really cool looking, but you can see what they look like. So if you just did a flat piece of paper, I'm sorry, if you did a flat piece of paper versus if you did the crinkle piece of paper. So that's cool. And I know someone did mention this earlier. For the one where I wrote the hello, it did pick up the pattern of that towel because it was just a flat piece of paper. So one thing, if you have a towel that you like, it would pick up the pattern if you do it flat. But if you're worried about the pattern for a flat piece, just make sure you could use like something that is smooth instead of something like that one had waffles in it. So that's kind of why it gives that waffled appearance. So for this one, for the maps, I'm going to use the Blueberry Bushel. And I'm actually going to do this one with the rubber brayer just to see what it looks like. So if you guys haven't, I'm pretty sure I have, I don't know if it's, I thought I did a blog post, but I could be wrong. But someone before did a really, really cool post. I think it was at least a year ago because it's when we still had the Botanical Bloom stamp set. But they did this brick and they actually made it look like bamboo. So if you look up brick embossing folder and then bamboo, there was like a couple different colors that they mixed together to get it to work out that way. And if I can find it, I'll post a picture on my blog. But it looked really, really cool. So if you have this folder or you like to make cards that have flowers on them or just different stuff, I would definitely look into that. So what it does is it goes vertically so it looks like bamboo. But it's so cool. Really, really neat. I know it's definitely on Pinterest because that's where I found it. All right, so again, I'm going to use a Blueberry Bushel. Now, you do want to make sure when you are inking your rubber brayer, since we haven't talked about this in a while, but this is one of my favorite tools. When you do it, you want to make sure you move it around because if not, if you do the same thing, you'll get lines. So try to move it around. That's the first tip. And when you do it, let me move this just a smidge. You kind of want to start off the paper before. And remember, this, my table is like way uneven too. Grab. Should have put this underneath first. It would have made a cooler impression, but that's okay. So if you have it, you want to make sure you have something that's very smooth. That way it'll cover the whole thing. Okay, so just like that. This looks really neat. And now, again, I get mad at myself, but I mean, I guess I have to give myself a break. You can only do so many things. But the problem is, the things that I wait the longest to do are usually the things I love the most. And then I'm always like, darn it, why didn't I do that sooner? So I'm just going to take my towel. And again, it is going to smear it a little bit because there's going to be places where it's not picked up. You could certainly probably do this another way. So if you like the way this looks, you could just do your towel and kind of try to pick up the ink a little bit more versus spreading it around. So if you have a paper towel and just press, it'll give you more of that white spaced look if you like it. If not, your wet ink, you could probably also sit this on the side to dry. However, I'm not 100% sure if it will fully dry, considering that it is a glossy paper, so it's kind of, the ink is meant to spread over it. Let me put this over here again, pick up a little bit more. So it kind of just depends on like what it is that you want to do with this card. But really neat with the whole embossing folder, and that has a nice shine to it as well. So if you do it with a paper towel, it does tend to pick it up more first. So if you want the more of the white look to it, just lift your ink first with the paper towel. So you could take it and just like kind of absorbing it and then picking it up this way versus this when I did it. And you guys can see how much ink was on there. That was a lot of ink that it rubbed off. So there is that one, which kind of is neat. The way the dark stuck on the parts that stuck up is really, definitely really cool. Really cool technique. And then you have your little wax. So this could be a great galaxy background card if you wanted to do it. Okay, so we only have one left. And I want to just tell you one other thing, just in case you don't know. So this Stampin' Pierce mat, if you ever get ink on it, it does. You can use this all the time. It does clean off. All you do is you just take like a baby wipe or a wet paper towel. Because I stamped, oopsie, with this the other day. Obviously, my name is not going to come off of, but you can either rinse this in the sink, and this is a lot of blue ink, but I promise you, it does come completely clean because I stamp on this a lot. And then once you wipe it off, so you can see how much ink came off, and then you could just like wipe it with your dry cloth if you wanted to get right back to using it. And there you go, perfectly clean. So you can use that just in case you like the blueberry before what. Yeah, no, I understand. And if you did that, all you have to do is just take your paper towel and dab it up instead. So it just depends on what you want to do. So we have one left here. I'm going to ask any color suggestions you would like to see. Glossy paper. So Stampin' Up does carry glossy paper, but it's getting ready to be discontinued. So if it's something that you really want, you might want to get that sooner than later. I liked it better before I spread it around. You know what's funny is when I was looking at this, it actually made, if you can see down here, it's got the dots on there. So you could have completely inked that up and then done it onto a paper. It might have put it. It would be just like a roller. It's pretty cool. Purple, pink, ooh, purple. All right, two purples. We're going with purple. We'll go with Highland Heather since it's a little bit lighter. Okay, so we'll do the same thing again. Let's see. Just fold this back a little bit. This made it really light. I kind of like the direct to paper because it made it dark. So let's do this. I'm going to make everybody happy, or I'm going to try, because I always try to make everybody happy. It's one of my faults. I'm going to do a little bit of Lovely Lipstick and a little bit of Highland Heather. So I'm just kind of take my ink pad. I'm going to start with the pinkish since it's slightly lighter. I don't know what this is going to look like, so it may look super beautiful or not. Got a little pink on there. That's okay. I'll wipe it off. I know there's probably people right now shrieking, no, you're getting ink. I am getting ink on there, so be wary of that. I'm going to, again, I did this the other day, so I'll just show you what I did. This is a very learning experience oriented live we're doing today. So if you get a different ink color on there, you just take a paper towel or a baby wipe, and you can kind of just wipe to lift it off. There you go. It's almost gone. Or you could use your sponge or your brayer if you want, but you know, I like to live on the edge and test things out so you guys know what you should or shouldn't do. Okay, so now I'm stamping, there's a teeny bit of pink there, but once I re-ink it, it'll be fine. Rainbow is your favorite color. That's that's so cute. I love rainbows too. All right, Purple Posy. Somebody asked. I'm going to use the back side of this sponge. Now, obviously, once we, it's a little bit more. Once we wipe this, it's going to look different. It's very dark right now. I'm going to put just a little bit because nothing's ever good enough for me, which is also translates to the rainbow stamper. He's just never satisfied. I'm going to put a little bit of Gorgeous Grape in the center. I'm going to just pick up my baby wipe, put some Gorgeous Grape on it, since I have it here, and we'll put that there. All right, so let's see what this one looks like. Woo, that's something, isn't it? Super dirty fingers today. Okay, now I'm going to take my trusty cloth and just wipe it off. This, if you recall up here, remember I said we had that line that no wax paper transferred to? That's why it's super inky right there. And kind of the same thing when I did this up here, I had the corner of the paper there and then I added it back on. So there you go. And I did trim these. These are just quarter sheets. So 1, 2, 3, we'll say just 4. So if you wanted to, there is room to be able to trim these down. I know you can't even see that because it's not in the field of view, but there you go. So these do fit. These are just 4 1/4 by 5.5 pieces. So this is one full sheet. So you could always trim these down if you wanted to. And then again, before you completely fool with it, just make sure you have everything dry. This one, we could do is use the top and then use this for a different piece. We could stripe it for a different piece there so it looks better. But anyway, yes, that definitely pops. And again, I am sorry because of the way this camera is. You can only see the way it's laying. You can only see certain things at certain times. So let us just at least, while we're at it, let me just wipe a little bit of the ink off of these before I put this back. Let's at least make one card before we wrap it up. Let me move these out of the way. Bear with me 1 second. Oops, that one's not closed. And we'll make a card. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let me move this over. I'm going to move all these out of the way. Clean that later. I'm going to move this. Whoopsie. Hold on, everything's getting all tangled up. I'm going to have ink all over everything that I don't want ink on. Okay, so let's see. Which one do we want to make a card with? And we'll figure something out. The brick one. The brick one. I got 2 bricks, so the brick's 1. Oh! You guys, I am so sorry. I really am sorry. That was a total catastrophe. This whole thing, this is why I don't like using this tripod. I'm always constantly knocking it over. By the time people are done, everybody's going to be nauseated. Okay, so I'm going to trim the brick one down a little bit. Does it dry? Totally. I'm going to put this piece of paper on top. It should be dry. Nothing came off. So this one is dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down. Let's say I'm going to cut it down to, just for now, I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4. And then we'll see what we want to do with it. Sorry guys, this is like a catastrophe waiting to happen today. All right. You know what? I was going to put this on espresso, but let's put it on crumb cake because I think it'll look, it's going to like pop off more. We'll do it like that. There we go. So we have crumb cake and we have, oh, what are we going to add to this? Let's make this simple. We'll make this a simple card. And which way? We could either go vertically or we could go horizontally. I haven't 100% decided yet. Let's see. All right, so we have that. You have this. This does tend to bend just a smidgy, so you probably want to make sure you really use my favorite Fast Fuse, if you still have it, or Tombow liquid glue, and just really hold it down before you do it. You would have had too many things on the floor. Thanks. That does make me feel a little better. At least well, I shouldn't say that yet because there's still time. I could always end up dropping it. So you say you want to use red? Hold on, Sherry. I'm in the mood of humoring people today. Let's see what red looks like. Nope. That's Poppy. Hold on. Here is some red. Red might look cool. This would be a great card for a firefighter. If you have a firefighter in your life you need to make a card for. All right, hang on one sec. Let me score this. This will be the thing that I end up somehow knocking over the camera on because I'm crazy. Not because of anybody's fault but my own. Now we did pick red and not Poppy Parade. And remember we had Poppy Parade in there. We had Cajun Craze and Espresso. And the combination of them kind of was really, really, really pretty cool. Gray Granite would look nice as well. But I'm not changing again. I'm sorry. I got to draw the line somewhere. Okay, let me think. We could do like a birthday card. We could do... The red does really pop the colors. Yes, I know. See, I'm more of the muted. So thank you, Sherry, for making me do something a little bit more exciting. You could even do this one. Would be really cool just to pull it out with the car. With the car in the background. But I moved the big shot, so I can't do that one right now. Oh, this would be great with it too. With the art one, you could do those and you paint my world with happiness and you could make this into a spray paint can. That would be really cool. I like this other one too with the birthday. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm looking and not thinking. The car. Spring flowers would look nice. Absolutely. Hey Gail, hope you're doing well. Glad to see you're with us. Did something happen? No, I dropped something. That's all. Just dropping things. Making a mess. As usual. I'm going to do Awesome at Any Age. So I have Awesome at Any Age. And I am going to, because I love you all so much, I'm going to cut out a car. I got to get the big shot though. So bear with me because I have a big pile of stuff everywhere over here. So I do have a piece of Whisper White. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this punch or this punch. I'm not sure what. So I'm going to use that. Let me grab. All right. Okay, so I have the big shot. And I'm gonna cut out a pre-done car though, because the rate I'm going, this is gonna be where something turns into a disaster. Oh, I could even do this one. I'm gonna do this car because this car is pretty simple to cut out. I'm gonna do that one. Don't even need the big shot for that one. I'll keep that out though because I have some pieces cut we could always add to it. Okay. So let me grab my snips. And don't think I'm being funny when I say I love you guys. I do love you guys. I enjoy this so much. I was so happy on Monday after we did our live because it was just so funny and so fun. And this one was fun too. It's more fun crafting with someone, I think. Which is why it's always fun to do classes, because you get to interact with people. Get the back of this. Woo-hoo-hoo. So is there any one thing you guys are specifically looking forward to in the new catalog that you've seen like a peek of or anything thus far? Because there are a few sweets that I just cannot wait to be able to share with you guys, like the peacock. All right, so there's our card. That was pretty simple to cut out. And now we're going to do awesome at any age. And sticking with the theme of the red, I'm going to do this in... I'm going to do it in Poppy Parade. That way it kind of brings that back out again. You have no sound until you get to the diner. All right, awesome at any age. Cool, I'm sure there's probably somewhere too we could pop some tire tracks out of that. I think I did that a little too close. We might have to do this one. Yeah, we'll do that, and we're going to add maybe the card to the front of it or something. That was a piece of thick whisper white. That's why it was way harder to punch through. Put the key on there too. There we go. And a gear. Why not? I'm going to do a black gear because that does not match whatsoever. So I have all these extra pieces, and I just keep them in with my thinlits. That way if I need them for something, because I had cut all these things out at once. So I was like, well, I'll do that. And then since I have this, let me just do this real quick. Do I still have... Uh-oh. What did I do with that? Here it is. I have the rest of that espresso from earlier. So I'm going to just go around the edge of this. Man, you'd think I was like, Father's Day was my favorite day. This is like I think this is the most guy cards I've ever made. So we'll put a gear and a key. I'm going to just put one, I'm going to put one of these on with, let me get out my fast fuse. Put one on with the dimensional, I'll put one on with Tombow. So put the gear kind of down here, and I apologize if I'm out of the field of view. I'm trying to make sure that I'm in because I'm in a different spot. And we'll put a little dimensional on the key. This, in case anybody doesn't know, this is an old Chrysler key. You can tell by the shape of it. My mom and dad used to have some sort of a car that was like a Chrysler Pontiac. I don't know. I think it was I don't know. I feel like it might have been a Camaro, but I don't really know what it was, to be 100% honest. But I know we had cars with those keys, and I like the fact that all the keys in there, you can tell if you've had that kind of car, you know what it is, which I think is really cool. Okay, so since you do have the grooves, you want to make sure you use a really good adhesive. So again, Tombow would be a great one to use as well. Plus that way you can kind of move it around to where you want it to be. Oop. Let's see. I might have made a fool of myself using this fast fuse because fast fuse doesn't always stick to all the spots super well when you have those indents from embossing folders. Oh my gosh, and guess what I just remembered? I have gymnastics tomorrow. I shouldn't say I do. Rainbow Stamper has gymnastics tomorrow. So my time, I might have to figure out what time I can do this. Glad I thought of that. He has it at... Yeah, he has it early. So we might have to be later because you guys, I'm sure, do not want to watch this any earlier than we already are. So it might not be until we get back. I will figure out 100% for sure a time and let you guys know. I'll put this here. Like that. And I probably, you know what? I put fast fuse on that, but because of the divots, I'm going to add some Tombow. So I will let you know. I will post the time once I figure out the time that I can do this. There we go. Pretty cool. Come Sail Away Sweet. I already have that whole thing, Pamela. That is one of my favorites too because I love nautical stuff. The sailing one. Yep. Awesome. Tammy's new stamp set is really cool too with the cameras. I love that. No earlier, please. You guys are so cute. I love it. Okay. It'll be later. The Daisy bundle. I love that stamp set as well. Oh, thank you, Mary. I love you. Thank you for all the compliments. You guys are so nice. And the birds and the magnolia. Let me tell you, Chip and Joanna Gaines need to somehow become stampers. Because if they don't love that magnolia, something is seriously wrong, right? All right, let me look real quick. And I'm going to see. Gymnastics is at 10:20. So it runs 10:20 to like 11 something. So we could probably do 11:30. So it'll be 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, give or take a few minutes. So 11:30 Eastern Standard Time is when I'll be live tomorrow. And what we can do is we can kind of finish up something with these other backgrounds that we made. Okay. No, these are not. Hold on. Let me scoot this forward so you can see what we're doing here. There we go. So you can see kind of what these look like. Those. And then we will also, we'll do these tomorrow as well. So you guys can see them. So, let me make this one the spotlight since we actually finished a card. Thank you guys so much for joining. This was so much fun. I appreciate all of your support and sharing. And we'll be back to the regular camera tomorrow. So I won't be jockeying for space like I am now because it's a little ridiculous. Your friends and I went to the Magnolia table. That's cool. Very nice. I would love to go there. Karen, I want too many things too, which is why I'm at least a demonstrator. So at least I get a little bit of a discount on it. Better than nothing. But I will see you guys tomorrow. And what I'll do is I'll create an event like the one that was on there today. So you guys will know exactly what time. And if you say you're going to the event, I think it gives you a notification. If not, you might want to go and check your notifications for people you follow, which is hopefully myself as well. And make sure you hit, there's like a little thing on Facebook that'll say all, and that way it'll tell you every time someone you want to watch is on. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow, I believe around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pam, you need to be, if you aren't signed up as a demonstrator, you need to, at least. All right, ladies, take care. Glad you're feeling better, Gail. We'll see you later.